Picture this, a fertile land nestled between two rivers, the birthplace of civilization, known as Mesopotamia. This land, blessed with arable soil and fresh water, was home to some of the earliest human settlements, dating back 12,000 years. It was here, in the heart of the ancient Near East, between the mighty Tigris and Euphrates rivers, that civilization as we know it began to take shape. In an era when most of humanity was scattered, nomadic, and dependent on the whims of nature, the people of Mesopotamia found an oasis of stability. The region's climate was temperate, the soil fertile, and the rivers provided a reliable source of fresh water. These conditions made it possible for the early inhabitants to take the first steps towards a settled agricultural lifestyle. As the centuries rolled on, these early agricultural communities began to evolve, to grow, and to complexify. Around 6,000 years ago, something extraordinary happened. Those scattered farming villages began to merge, forming the world's first cities. These were places of unprecedented size and complexity, with populations in the tens of thousands. Competition between these city-states was fierce, driving technological and societal advancements at a pace never seen before. But the story of Mesopotamia is not just about the birth of cities, it's about the birth of civilization itself. The people of this region didn't just build houses and walls, they built societies, cultures, and institutions that have shaped human history for thousands of years. So we see that Mesopotamia's location played a vital role in its development, setting the stage for a civilization that would change the world. In the next scenes, we'll delve deeper into this fascinating period, exploring the monumental innovations, the birth of writing, the rise and fall of empires, and the enduring legacy of this cradle of civilization. Imagine a world where agriculture drives the evolution of society, where the first cities begin to emerge. In the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, about 12,000 years ago, a transformation was taking place. A stable climate, fertile soil, and fresh water sources provided the perfect conditions for the rise of agriculture. This was a time when human beings began to shift from a nomadic lifestyle to a more settled existence. They began to cultivate crops, domesticate animals, and in doing so, they laid the foundation for the development of civilizations. As these agricultural communities grew and prospered, they began to form larger settlements. These settlements, over the course of about 6,000 years, evolved into what we now recognize as the first cities. It was here that the concept of urbanization began. These first cities were not just larger settlements, but complex societies with varied economic activities, social hierarchies, and political structures. But as these cities grew, so did the competition between them. Each city-state, as they were known, was like a small country with its own ruler, its own gods, and its own way of life. The competition between these city-states often led to conflict, but it also spurred on advancements in technology, trade, and culture. It was a time of great change, of progress, and of the birth of many of the concepts and structures we see in our societies today. In these city-states, we see the first signs of urban planning, with houses, temples, and palaces built around a central square. We see the emergence of social classes, with a clear distinction between the rulers, the priests, the artisans, and the farmers. And we see the beginnings of trade, with goods being exchanged not just within the city-state, but also with distant lands. These were the first steps towards urbanization, a concept that we take for granted today. The rise of the urban landscape in Mesopotamia was a defining moment in human history, setting the stage for the development of civilizations around the world. Step into a world of monumental constructions and mathematical marvels. Picture the landscape of ancient Mesopotamia, dotted with grand edifices that reached for the heavens. These were no ordinary structures but palaces and ziggurats, symbols of power and divinity. The ziggurats, colossal tiered temples, were not just architectural marvels but also sacred spaces, where the people of Mesopotamia believed they could communicate with their gods. These mammoth temples stood as testament to the advanced development of this ancient civilization. Yet the wonders of Mesopotamia weren't confined to its awe-inspiring structures. This civilization was also a cradle of mathematical innovation. The Mesopotamians developed a base 60 mathematical system, a concept that might sound alien to us in an age where a base 10 system is the norm. But think about it. 60 seconds make a minute. 60 minutes make an hour. Even our divisions of degrees into minutes and seconds follow this system. These are echoes of a time long past, remnants of the Mesopotamian mathematical system that continue to shape the way we measure time today. The Mesopotamians didn't stop with mathematics. They turned their gaze to the skies, making significant contributions to astronomy. They divided the year into two equal parts, effectively creating the concept of seasons. They developed a zodiac system, providing a foundation for astrology that has persisted for centuries. From massive structures to mathematical advancements, Mesopotamia was a hub of innovation. It was a civilization that dared to reach for the stars, both literally and metaphorically. Its monumental constructions still inspire awe, and its mathematical and astronomical systems continue to influence our modern world in ways we often take for granted. And as we delve deeper into the story of this ancient civilization, we'll discover even more about how the people of Mesopotamia shaped the world we live in today. So let's continue this journey through time, exploring the birth of writing and the fall of this fascinating civilization. Witness the evolution of communication and the fall of a great civilization. Mesopotamia, the land between two rivers, was not just a birthplace of civilization, it was also where writing was born. Before the alphabet, before the hieroglyphs, there were simple pictures, pictographs etched into clay tablets. These pictographs evolved over time, becoming more abstract and stylized, and by around 3200 BC, the cuneiform writing system was born. Cuneiform was extraordinary in its versatility. It was a system not confined to a single language. It was adapted to represent sounds and concepts in Sumerian, Akkadian, and other languages of the region. It was used to write royal inscriptions, administrative documents, and even the laws of Hammurabi, one of the oldest deciphered writings of significant length in the world. But as the saying goes, every rise has a fall. The success of Mesopotamia did not go unnoticed by those beyond its borders. The civilization's prosperity and progress attracted the envy of external powers. And so, in 539 BC, the grand city of Babylon, the jewel of Mesopotamia, was conquered by the Persian king Cyrus. This marked the beginning of a period of dominion by foreign empires. The once glorious cities and ziggurats slowly crumbled, the cuneiform script was forgotten, replaced by the scripts of conquerors. Yet, even in decline, the influence of Mesopotamian civilization was indelible. Its ideas and innovations, its ways of seeing and understanding the world, had seeped into the cultures of its conquerors, and through them, into the wider world. Thus, the civilization that had given so much to the world, eventually fell into decline. But its legacy, the birth of writing, the dawn of cities, the first codified laws, and so much more, lived on. For as long as we tell time in hours, minutes, and seconds, as long as we look up at the night sky and see the constellations of the zodiac, we will be living in the shadow of Mesopotamia. The echoes of Mesopotamia still reverberate through the annals of history. As we step back and gaze at the panorama of this ancient civilization, we realize just how vast its contributions were. It gifted us the fundamentals of modern society, from the first forms of literacy with the cuneiform script, to the foundations of legal systems with Hammurabi's law. This cradle of civilization bestowed us with the base 60 mathematical system, shaping our understanding of time and geometry. Its pioneering astronomers divided the year and created the zodiac, influencing our systems of astrology and astronomy today. But beyond these tangible contributions, Mesopotamia's true legacy lies in its ideas, its curiosity, and its ceaseless pursuit of knowledge. It taught us to reach for the stars, literally and metaphorically, to understand our world and seek to make it better. Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, left a rich legacy that continues to shape our world today. Do share your thoughts on this fascinating civilization, and remember to subscribe for more historical content. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time.